All right, on today's episode, we're going to be watching Oregon's run plays inside the red zone versus Texas Tech in their playoff victory from yesterday. All right, let's roll the tape. I haven't watched all these plays yet or studied all of them, so we're kind of going to be watching them together. All right, down here on the 10-yard line, send tight end in motion. Good, it looks like an inside zone play with the option to RPO for the quarterback. All right, they're starting at a pistol. Here we're getting a 3-down structure by Texas Tech's defense. Good. All right, so they're running inside zone to the tight end side, right, with this motion coming back across the formation, bluffing on the defensive end. Okay, so let's just talk about inside right here when we get those 3-down fronts. All right, so we got a 0 technique right here, and then it looks like 2 4 techniques, one right here, one right here, plus Sam on the ball, Will on the ball. All right, so they're creating a 5-man structure, 3 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers on the ball, 2 linebackers in the box. Okay. Let's roll this tape. Good. So they're on the play side with the right guard, right tackle, tight end. Okay. They're just solo blocking those 2 guys, keeping them out. All right. Good job by them. Okay. Now inside. All right. Combinations. Okay. We gotta get to this linebacker right here by the offensive line, and then this linebacker right here by the offensive line. So center right guard in this case, it looks like they're working a combination up to the play side linebacker here. Okay, now backside, we've got to get captured by the backside guard or tackle depending on how this plays out. This backside defensive end now all the way over here, right? He's going to be unblocked in this picture because the tight end coming in motion is going to bluff him to go to the flats. All right, now on the play side, block out, man there. All right, so pretty day one inside zone. Now, when you're running inside zone at the pistol with the quarterback reading the backside defensive end, you're going to watch how the quarterback opens up. Right, he's open up with his butt to the hole, per se, inside zone to the right. But he's got to be able to read that backside defensive end still. So let's watch this. Good. So what I like here a lot, right? Let's watch this center, okay? So 1 second. Okay. All right, let's watch the center. All right, highlighting the center here. He's doing a really good job here. They're working a combination up to the linebacker right here, okay, to this spot. And he does a really good job of passing off this nose to the right guard and then climbing up square to the linebacker. All right, so boom. And then see on his way to up to the linebacker, he giving the defensive tackle on the backside of the shoulder, right? Really good job knocking that back over to the left guard on his way up, climbing to the linebacker. Now I'd just like to see him play with his feet underneath him, not such so close together, a little bit more of a base, and to stay latched on. But initially, really good job. Way to feel that movement up front, pass it off to the right guard, give a shoulder back to the backside defensive tackle, and now you're on to the linebacker. Right now we just got to clean up. Once you get to that linebacker, play with the base, latch on with your feet, and this could have been a touchdown run, right? But either way, a good run. It could have been a little bit better. Now on the backside versus all this movement, right? This backside left guard, left tackle in this case, they're working up to number 10. But if you watch the defensive end, spikes inside, passes off to the left guard, and the left tackle has his eyes on the linebacker, right? We got to have our eyes on who we're working to. Good job by the left tackle collecting them. Nice work. All right. On the play side, right guard, right tackle. Okay. Let's start with the right guard first. Don't love that first step. All right. So we're talking about this right guard right here. Right. He's working up to the linebacker, being a presence for the center if he does get this type of movement from the nose, which they end up getting. All right, so I would love for him not to step with his left foot first, but rather step with that right foot to avoid foot traffic with him in the center. I don't like that, seeing that position right there. But nonetheless, gets on his guy, continues to work, drive his feet, and the ball goes right there. All right, so kind of like split zone or split zone action, inside zone to the tight end, right, bluffing that backside defense end for the quarterback read, and a really good gain. All right. Okay, now they're down here, 2-yard line or so. Start in the gun this time. All right, they got tight end attached on the right, 3 receivers on the left. Okay, so inside zone, it looks like kind of like a bubble screen on the backside. Inside zone to the tight end again. All right, so another 3-down structure, right? It's very similar to that last play, almost identical, right? But the only thing difference now is when the ball's being snapped, there's a lot more guys near the box, right? Because they're on the 2-yard line, right? So you have an element right here that wasn't there in that previous picture, an element right here, right? And the linebackers are very close. Look at the ball is on the 2-yard line. The linebackers are lined up on the goal line, right there and right here, right? So they're 2 yards away. That means our combinations are going to be sped up a little bit, or have the potential to be sped up, right? We got to have our eyes up. There's not much space. We can't get stuck with our head down and not see internal pressure, right? Like, let's watch this left guard right here, or left tackle. Oh, they have, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Look at this. They're in tackle over, okay? So I didn't see that, right? Still same structure, but tackle's over, right? So they took their right tackle, moved him over to the left. Now the tight end is a solo guy on the right, right? So still same idea. Not now, this time it's not split zone, right? But they got get to get number 10, or this linebacker right here. Oh, sorry, let's redo that. Wrong tool. Okay, so backside left tackle, left guard. Got to get to this linebacker right here, right? Now, understanding he's playing about 2 yards away from the ball, so he can hit it any direction real quick. So we got to have our eyes up. He can go either way. Playing downhill, aggressive near the goal line. Let's watch this. Good, great job by the left tackle, right? Number 75, or 76. Okay, 76, the left tackle, right? Has his eyes up, gets to number 10, boom, washes him down. Good job. All right, inside. All right, it's a little bit different of a look, I should say, than that previous play, but right here, it looks like there's going to be in a fan situation working out, which means now the center and the left guard got to work all the way to this linebacker here, so they're in across the ball. Good, which means backside tackle and the extra tackle, they're working now to number 10, right? So these 2 linebackers are being handled by our offensive line, all right? Backside linebacker right here will be unblocked, right? And potential unblocked guy right here as well, and right here. All right, so let's roll the tape, see how this plays out. Good. I think right here, I like the initial part of that center and left guard, right? They're creating that A across the ball. I just think the left guard here needs to attack with lower pads and hit the hip more so than driving through with his chest, right? So I would like to see him take his right shoulder pad to the hip. And then the center, just try not to turn your hip so much like this, right? Especially being inside zone to the right. Try to stay a little bit more square. Go through the defender's play side shoulder instead of stepping back with that false step initially and then stepping forward. Now we get our hips all turned, right? Just aggressively attack his play side shoulder off the ball, knowing that you have the left guard there to come help you. All right. Now we're on the 20-yard line. A little bit later in the game. Man, not very many safeties playing deep here. All right. Looks like a crowded box. A lot of guys near the line of scrimmage. Good again. All right, they're in this. Okay, so a 3-down structure are a little bit different this time. All right, that kind of looks like they're in between fronts. They're not really lined up correctly, but regardless, right, it looks like on the play side, the right side, this case is inside zone to the right, to the open side. All right, so right guard, right tackle. I don't know why they did it like this, right? You would think, the way I think, block out to that linebacker, block out. And now we're in a situation again where we got an A across the ball here, and then we'd have to use tackle, tight end to get to number 10. Not great angles, but not the way they did it anyways. I don't know why, obviously. I'm not in those meetings. But so what they did is they went solo by the right tackle on the 4 technique and comboed up to the linebacker with the center and right guard. So they went man here, and then they comboed up here, left guard, center, all the way up to the linebacker. Right, and then backside, now we're in that B situation with like a 3 technique, right, working there, and man on the backside. It looks like what they did. Okay. Good. So let's start at the left tackle spot. Initially, what you can notice about this guy is he's real quick off the ball. Like, look at his initial quickness off the ball, right? Really good job by the left tackle, you know, and that kind of that scoop technique, that B technique on the backside. Right now, what he can do better is be more into the line of scrimmage, not so lateral. Right? His initial quickness is great, and if this was wide zone, great job getting him reached, but this is inside zone, it looks like. So let's be a little bit more into the line of scrimmage, driving through that play side shoulder. That way you don't have to turn on it and wheel back on it, right? Now the left guard. Okay, left guard, good job having your eyes up. Right? Has his eyes up, sees the blitzing linebacker, gets on him, but too much hopping, right? The left guard is hopping too much. I'd love to see him play with his feet together, and play his feet in the ground, play faster with his feet, and then be in a better position for that linebacker right there. But good job getting to your landmark. Now inside, right, center, right guard. I don't know if there's miscommunication here, but you can see the center is taking play side footwork and driving through that right shoulder, or the left shoulder of the defensive lineman, but also the right guard is stepping inside. Right, so not ideal by any sense of the imagination, and that center's got to stay on him, right? So a little bit sloppy play here, and that's why the running back gets hit in the backfield. Okay, you got to take care of, especially anytime you're running to the open side, right? So this is like day 1 rules, inside zone to the open side. We have to take care of, sorry, wrong thing. So let's go clear. All right, day 1 rules of inside zone, right? You're running this play to the open side, meaning there's no tight end attached here, right? There's no tight end lined up on the ball. So you're running to the open side. We have to take care of the edge, right? We have to fan out, take care of that. Otherwise, this play is going to be dead in the backfield like it is here. So not sure what happened. Pivotal point in the game to make a mistake. It's all right. All right. All right, down here, 6-yard line. Looks like they got some heavier bodies in the game. They're running a pin and pull action. Really cool stuff for a touchdown. Great play. So when we talk about pin and pull, what we talk about, just to be on the same page, we're pinning in from the outside. So typically some form of down blocks from the outside, and then pulling linemen to the outside. Or pinning in from the outside in, pulling from the inside out, right? Pin and pull scheme, really hard stuff to defend, especially when you're running with so many big bodies on the field, looks like they have here. All right, let's see them get lined up. Boom, cool stuff. I love pin and pull. Pin and pull is a great play. All right, so let's see how they blocked us up front. Right, they're going to block the defense end on the play side, so this play is being run to the right. They're going to block the defensive end on the play side by having this extra big body in there. I should have extra offensive lineman blocking down, right? And then inside we're going to get, it looks like the tackle is going to pull and also the guard's going to pull. All right, so let's watch this. Pulling from the inside out. Really cool stuff. Okay, so on the front side, we get this, the right tackle and the right guard are pulling around. All right, let's see. They're going to have, all these bodies blocked down. All right, so they're all blocking down, blocking down. We got him leading on the corner, right, to kick out. All right, then we got 2 alley pulls, right? Second puller's got to do a really good job of having his eyes inside, because more than likely who he's going to be blocking, right, is going to be somebody flowing from the middle of the field, okay? The alley defender will be taken care of by the tackle, right? So usually it's that high safety, okay? The tight end in this case is going to be kicking out the corner. Now that second puller, got to have your eyes inside once you get around the bunch, because as you can see here, that second puller ends up on number 10, right, that linebacker who started inside. So watch the right guard's track, staying square. Just got to get his eyes on him quicker and take a better angle. I think initially he needs to lose more ground. The right guard and right tackle could lose more ground initially, and I think that would really help them in this case, right? Get back a little bit to allow all this stuff to kind of happen in front of you, all these down blocks. Sometimes it's tight ends and wide receivers. There may be a little bit of knockback, but lose a little bit more ground, right? So you can get around and get square and get your eyes on your target. Get a little bit square, get your eyes on your target inside, right? So I think initially their depth kind of hurt them here, but good job playing with speed, getting on your target. Nice job. Good. Now on the backside of pin and pull plays, right, where it's going to be like backside cutoff, trying to go capture one of those linebackers if you can. And if I'm sitting here at left tackle thinking about, can I go get number 5? Right, go get somebody in the box, go cut off on the backside. Don't worry about wheeling back on anybody if they play too away from the play, because this ball is going out into the alley. All right. Now once we get out in space as an offensive lineman, right, we don't want to shuffle our feet or pitter patter. Run your feet through your target, make him jump out of the way. Nice work. All right, down here, 18-yard line now. Okay, and it looks like another form of inside zone. All right, staying true to what they're good at. All right, they're in the pistol. Okay, we got 3-down structure again up front. So actually what I think this is, very similar to like nickel duo. If you see what they're doing, they're working. Yeah, it's like a form of duo. Let's draw this up. All right. So they're working the number 10 with their center and left guard on the nose. All right, comboing this in the ace combo. Okay. They're gonna like fan out on the backside, man this. All right. Now they're gonna combo this guy, defense end, to number 13. All right. Leaving this guy over here unblocked. All right, the very downhill track by the running back. but no kick out, right? Typically with some duo, whether it's nickel duo or like base duo, you're going to get someone kicking out, or you'll have your tight end block out, and you'll have, element insert, something along those lines. But they're running it just with a tight end attached, no fullback or wide receiver insert. So let's watch this. Good. So really good job here by the center. Right, they're working the nose zero technique all the way out to number 10 in the ace. Okay, so initially that nose swims him, right? Not great, and it probably comes from his first step is so far back, and then he's kind of getting his hips twisted, right? So I'd love to see him attack with that right foot, left foot through the crotch, and have more power. But what I love is as he climbs up to number 10, the linebacker, boom, he plays with power, plays with tight hands, low to high with his hands, and he's firing through. Let's watch that again by number 72 to center, right? He's got that ace all the way out to the linebacker, okay? Gets swam, but plays with power at the second level. Love the way he's attacking the second level there, number 72. All right, let's watch the left guard. All right, getting thrown off the block a little bit. He attacks with a good base, stops his feet, and then it's hard to see from that angle, but look at his feet, right? They're getting crossed over. It's hard to play with power when your feet are in that position there, okay? So I'd love to see him just keep his base, drive his feet, be more of a power-producing angle rather than crossing over a little bit out of control here. So could be better, and this would be a better run if it was that way. All right, now the left tackle, working with the tight end. All right, he needs to be more under control, right? He's in that like tray block, oftentimes it's called, with the tackle tight end. Okay, he needs to be more vertical. Look at where his landmark is, the tight end or the linebacker landmark. Okay, but understand the path of the back. Be vertical initially off the line of scrimmage. You have your tackle coming or tight end coming down to help you. Be vertical off the ball, and then go attack. Right, instead of going around the block like he is here. I'd love to see him be vertical to inside. All right, so let's watch what he ends up doing. So you can see what I'm talking about when I say going around the block. See his steps are taking him around the defense end instead of through him, and then he's able to throw him off. Okay, and then he's out of control again to the second level and falls. So be more vertical initially. Keep your eyes on your target, right? And then you can go attack and have your feet underneath you when you go attack that linebacker. All right, we're in the fourth quarter, 2nd and 8. Ball is on the 16-ish yard line. Motion to running split zone. All right, they're starting in this tight end fullback set or tight end set, bringing one guy over, and now using him as for split zone. Okay, so they're just running inside zone to the open side again, right? Getting into a very similar situation that we were at in last time. Let's watch this. All right, start with the left tackle. Okay. All right, we're starting right here with the left tackle. All right. He's working a combination with the tight end up to this linebacker right here. Right? So he needs to be thinking right foot forward, left foot through the crotch, lift this defensive end's shoulders, right? Get him out of his pad level, then go attack the linebacker, which will be on an angle. Okay? So if you watch initially, what he does with his footwork is he takes a bunch of little steps, right? He never like gets his feet going forward. They're all just kind of going a little bit, and he's able to get washed by. You know, set this block up for the tight end by taking positive first couple steps. All right, so boom. You guys see that? See, his feet aren't really going. His right foot's going real wide. When he's going to make contact, look at the position he's in. Doesn't have his feet underneath him, and then he can't get onto the linebacker. All right, so eyes on the linebacker. Got to have your first 2 steps in the ground fast so you can explode off. Much better job here. Much better job. Let's watch. Okay. Watch the left guard right here. He's going down on a combination with the center, working all the way to the linebacker right here. All right, so he has full reign to go down and attack that hip, go attack that shoulder. Boom. See how he attacks with low pads? I don't love his initial footwork. He's kind of stepping underneath himself, not really going anywhere, but I love the position right there that he's entering. Right, like that body position. Oops, sorry. This body position that the guard is entering the block into, right, is really good job. Better than the one we saw earlier when he hit with his chest. All right, so good job. Way to drive your feet. Drive your feet. Good. I think the center does a better job here too of setting up this block. Good job of him setting up the block for the guard to come and hit it. Now, I don't love his footwork still. He's stepping so far back. I'd love to see him play with more positive feet, more efficient footwork, going towards his target. But he does a good job of when he goes to attack that linebacker, he explodes on the linebacker and gets movement on him, right? Like watch the center here. Gets good movement on that linebacker, okay? Now, when you're on the backside of zone plays, especially, when you're on the play side of zone plays especially, you don't want to be so inside out. Like the right guard's footwork right here, okay, this guy right here, his footwork needs to be attacking his defender. Close the space. You want to block him out this way, right? The right tackle wants to block that guy out, and they want to keep him out this direction, okay? So if you see here what he does with his feet is he kind of steps inside first with his left foot and then twists his body, right? Doesn't have much power, and then you can see he can't create much movement here. He needs to drive his feet towards his target off the ball, play with tight hands, and continue to run his feet, right? And almost the same thing here by the right tackle. Right? Go close the distance, okay? Right tackle here is just kind of waiting. Go close the distance, create separation. Tough run. Fourth quarter again. Good, another toss play. This time not as successful. Good. So to me, it looks like the left tackle and the left guard, they're short on their pull here, because if you see where they're entering in up into the line of scrimmage, it's inside those down blocks. Right. So I think the left guard, left tackle need to lose some more depth so they can get around everything, have opportunity to get into that alley. Right. That first puller in this case is going to be the left tackle. All right. So left tackle needs to lose ground initially, right? Lose ground initially so you can lead on the alley guy. The alley defender is going to be that safety, right? We're going to have number 18 in this case go kick out the corner, right? So pull up, get around all the down blocks, and then get vertical, right? It looks like both him and the left guard kind of cut it a little short here. Now center, right guard, right tackle, just backside cutoff, right? Backside cutoff. Run. Don't be attached to the defensive lineman on the backside on these pin and pull plays. Okay, Just open up and run, try to cut someone off on the backside. Good. All right, nice. All right, they're lining up with 2 tight end bodies in the backfield and then kind of running like a form of split zone that looks like could be an RPO as well. All right, reading to see if he can pull it, throw it to the tight end. Oh, man. Oh, man. All right, so that's some form of spots blocking up front, right? And so when I talk about spot blocking, right, what I'm referring to was just like imagine there's like 3 spots at the second level, okay? Now we're going to work a combination to the first spot, then we're going to work a backside combination to the second spot, and then maybe a combination on the backside with a tight end working to the third spot. The reason some teams do it like that, or some schemes you want to do it like that, is you don't necessarily know who these 3 guys are going to be. You could be bringing in safety into the box. You could be bringing a linebacker who starts outside the box into the box, whether it's because of motion or just your scheme, how you're running things, right? There may be another person who's not in the box right now being brought into the box, and that's what it looks like they're doing here, rather than being attached to players, right? Like they end up working here who looks like their safety with their combination at center. Okay, so he ends up filling into the box and being that play side element, and it looks like they're running. Center's just kind of working like an A up to him, right? I'm not really quite sure what this scheme is here. It's inside zone, split zone, I know that, but what the combination is between the center and the guards, because the backside right guard, right tackle working like a B technique, right? So I'd love to see the center in this case. Let's just use our imagination and pretend that the center is working up to him. He knows that we're going to get a B on the backside, right guard, right tackle, right, working up to this linebacker. Okay, so if we know that, stepping right here as a center, we should get a thick double team between the left guard and the center all the way up to that linebacker spot, right? We'll block out here, okay? We'll work there on the backside. Now understand that with this backfield action, we're getting 2 guys going this direction, right? So understand pre-snap what's going to happen, right? We're probably going to get a little bit of fallback, right? These guys may come back to us a little bit, may come out of the box a little bit, right? So we just got to be alert pre-snap, understanding that with this action in the backfield, the linebackers will be moving, right? So we just got to make sure we're alert. Good. I love the left guard here. I love the left guard, right? Boom. I love that body position he's in. Look at that. Look at that. Great job moving his feet, playing with tight hands, running, and the ball goes right off of his block. Okay. Great job by the left guard. That's really good stuff. I love that. Great base. Way to run his feet. Okay. All right, backside, right guard, right tackle. All right, they're working on the defensive tackle. So these right guard, right tackle working defensive tackle to number 10, right? Looks like it's like a B combination. Okay. Pretty good job of getting hip to hip, right? They get pretty good hip to hip alignment, decent pad level, and they're able to create some space. And that linebacker gets lost in the sauce, can't get over the top. But that initial part was good, right? I don't love how much they're just like laterally shuffling, especially the right tackle. See how lateral everything is? And then he doesn't have much force. And the left guard is taking that, or the right guard is taking that big drop step with his left foot. See that big drop step, and now he's not in a very strong position on that tackle. Step just a little bit to the side maybe, or just straight forward with that left foot, right? Then you can get that right foot down in the middle of the body. Set it up for the right tackle a little bit better. At the end of the day, this play was successful because of the left guard's block. Love that base, love his tight hands. He could finish better, right? But that initial movement he gets, really good job. All right, they're down here on the 3-yard line. It's third down, 3rd and 3. Very similar action to what we just watched, right? We're getting 2 guys in the backfield going to the right and then inside zone. Go with the option for the quarterback to keep it or throw it, depending on how they play it on the backside. All right, so now we're down here on the goal line, a little bit different defensive look, right? We got a lot of guys inside the tackles. We got 4 guys lined up inside the offensive tackles. A lot of guys near the box, all right? So very cluttered. We got to have our eyes up in our combinations and know exactly who we're working to. All right, so this is how they handled it, it looks like, right? Blocked out here, center solo. Now right guard, right tackle are working this guy all the way to this linebacker, leaving the extra offensive lineman playing that tight end spot. I have to get all the way to that 4-eye position right there. All right, so not great landmarks or angles, but sometimes down here by the goal line, right, those number and angle advantages get taken away. Oh, dang, there's really cool stuff here. Okay, so I love the right guard. Let's watch the right guard first. He's got a B to that linebacker that keeps his eyes on him the whole time. He's able to block him, keep his feet underneath him, open up the lane for the running back. Good job by the right guard. Okay, again, right tackle here, the right tackle. Too much like side-to-side shuffling, in my opinion. All right, too much side to side. I'd love to see him be a little bit more downhill. Be aggressive, be downhill a little bit more. All right, and that extra tight end here, it's hard to block what you can't see. He's leaning forward. The defensive lineman sees it. Right, we're talking about tight end. This is extra offensive lineman here. Right, like we talked about, if he could block this guy, he has a good chance of winning. We have a good chance of winning this play, right? Or if that guy plays back, then continue up to block the next level. But as you can see here, he's heavy over his toes. He's leaning forward and sets him up to not be able to block that guy or see what he's blocking, right? And that's the defender who ends up making this play, right? Good job by the left guard initially too. All right, blocking out. Good. All right, so 2 guys going across the formation, right, and then the tight 8-gap track by that running back. Quarterback's reading the backside. Cool. 4th and 1 on the 1-yard line. Heavy set, fullback dive. Man, where's the celebration? Scoring touchdowns not fun anymore? What happened to scoring a touchdown being the best moment of your life? I like that they're all hugging, but I'd like to see a little bit more celebration. Have a little bit more fun. Come on, a little fun. One thing we should mention is, like, once you get down here inside the 3-yard line, 4-yard line, right? Sometimes that's going to change how we get into our stance, how much weight is forward, right? Especially if we get down here on the 1-yard line. It's okay to have a little bit more weight going forward. Like, really lean into it, because defense is going to be firing out low. There's not so much of a threat of a pass. So use the situation to your advantage. Put a little bit more weight on those hands, get down, drive off the ball. So that was it for the red zone runs for the Oregon Ducks in their college football playoff game versus Texas Tech. We saw a variation of a few different runs, mainly inside zone and pin and pull, one for which was a touchdown, and then that dive play at the end. Well, thank you for paying attention, and I'll see you next time. Bye.